Mr. Jones, I say you got a big head in there, but listen,
Oh boy. All right, how's everybody doing today?
All right.
Wonderful,
Hey.
wonderful. We are G Masters because we are coming up on the G Mass. And as G Masters, we know in here in Nesbitt we're better than everybody else. We're the best. We want to take these scores high as we possibly can. So today, in order to do that, we got to make sure that we learn from some of our student work. Today, that is our main goal, to learn from student work. So, our norms, we created our collaborative learning team norms. Once again, commitment is what transforms the promise into reality. So we're going to make sure that we start on time. Can we agree to that, class?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, team. I know we can. I said class because I'm still in the groove. I know like y'all are too. No side conversations because we want to get back to our rooms as quickly as possible so we can continue to actually do this work. You can count me in 100% of the time. Is that true? Can we count each other in 100% of the time?
Yes.
We're going to engage in constructive criticism, but we know what goes on here stays here. We're going to step it up. We're going to make room for others. We're going to seek wisdom when we can get it from everybody because we all know we are brilliant and bring something to the table. We're also going to demonstrate patience as we make these decisions. The work we're going to be looking at today is going to require us to have some fierce conversations and worry and take an inward look into our practice. So we got to make sure we do that and take advantage of the wisdom of our peers and make sure that we demonstrate patience. We need to smile, relax, have some fun, and remember that sharing is caring in the spirit of our great fearless AP, Mrs. Susan Jones. So today what we're going to do is we're going to work together and we're going to discover what our students understand and how they're thinking. A few weeks ago, about maybe about how long ago, Ms. Powell? Maybe about 6 to 8 weeks ago?
Weeks ago, yes.
6 to 8 weeks ago, we took the Georgia Milestones Assessment from the University of Georgia. And these are the actual assessment office, the Georgia Center for Assessment. We took the papers, we gathered them all together, gave them to a diverse population of students amongst our grade level, we sent them off. They just came back yesterday, so we tried to put this together as just in time as we possibly can be. So the results are back in. Though what we assessed when we sent this off to be evaluated is kind of like what we did with the 5th grade writing test in years past. When we sent it off, what we received back was the criterion referenced extended writing response, or the CR, extended writing response. For those of you who remember some of our previous meetings, we went through that counts for 7 points out of the 55 points, or about 13% of the possible points that our students can get. It is the extended one. It's the 7-point rubric. So on this assignment, our students will be given a maximum of 90 minutes to complete section 3. We're coming up on this very, very, very soon. So what it's going to look like is day 1, we'll go through some of the multiple choice and constructed responses, and day 2, the students will have an opportunity to complete this activity. 7 points, and it was broken down on a 2-trait rubric based off of the text-based informational and explanatory response. So the kids will get an informational piece, they'll read one, they'll get a second informational piece, they'll read that one, then they'll use the information and the constructed responses that they've worked on, and it'll build together until we get to something where they create their own finished 7-point, looks like the writing test, informational persuasive from years past, response. So the rubric is actually in your hands right now. If you take a look on the front side, it says trait 1 for informational explanatory genre. That is all about idea development, organization, and coherence. Does it make sense? Did they fully develop their ideas, and does it grab the reader's attention? If you look at some of the things, we're going to go through a student's work here shortly, and when we do, we're really looking to make sure that our kids get to a level 4. We want to make sure that our kids get to a level 4. So we're going to look at those points and those criteria, and if you turn over on the back, I am a little bit different. For me, I know some people like to do like this, and it's like, whoa. I like to do my things like this. So if I'm reading it like this, I like to do like that. That's how I like to do mine. So if you flip it, you're going to see trait 2 for informational and explanatory genres. That is the language, conventions, and usage. On the back, language, convention, and usage, GUMS as we refer to it, is going to count for 3 points out of the 7, and the ideas, and does it all merge and meld together, that counts for 4 points. So student work is the centerpiece of our discussion today. I know we got a lot of other things on our mind, on our plate. Spring break is fast approaching, but we want to make sure that when we go into spring break, that we're able to focus on our craft, our practices, the strategies that we've been teaching and we're working on, and make sure that when we come back after the break, that we can give our kids exactly what they need, seeing how it's going to be evaluated so that they can get as many points possible. And I guarantee you, if they can get 7 points, 6 points, 5 points even on this, they're going to do phenomenal on the regular constructive response. So our dialogue will be structured to respect our time and remain focused on the work. So let's do it. Now, the first thing I said is, what do you see? But you don't see anything, but you have 2 links in front of you. One of them I sent was the actual PDF document of one student's works, a piece of work from one of the students. If you take a look here at these beautiful tulips up here, I know they're gorgeous. They are blocking out the student's name and the score. Names over here, scores over here. If you would like to know what that student is, at some point, I guess we can share that information. If you want to have a conversation with that student, or I'm even thinking about interviewing that student to think about what their process was so that we can use it for our professional development. But right now, all we need to focus on is the text. This is one piece to respect our time and our process and get through the protocol. However, if you look at the Voki, not the Voki, the voice thread, Ms. Powell got me thinking about those Vokis. I sent a link to a voice thread. I'm a little bit more familiar with these, and I like this because now I can kind of move my mouse a little bit, and it will, if I move it just gently down at the bottom a little bit, it will automatically scroll for me, so I can do my little speed reading type thing. But that's the same document you have. If you get all the way down to the bottom, you will notice that all of the documents are there. So I have included all of the responses that we sent off to UGA. So, the Georgia Center for Assessment. So you can see I put the little penguins and the koalas up at the top so we can have conversations about what we see. Now, the thing that I also used about voice threads, because I know a lot of us are trying to implement more technology in our classrooms, the reason I wanted to show you the voice thread was because this gives us an opportunity, and even for your students, as educators, we can get a free account, and it gives us an opportunity. You can hit record, and I can record my voice and say, allow my mic. I noticed that the student did an excellent job using transitions. And stop. Tired of talking. It will process my voice.
Hold on.
You know, these new computers, hopefully. Hold on.
It says hold on.
Just like, it's like a Drake song.
It's like in bold.
In Vogue. Hold on. But you can upload, you can have the opportunity to record your actual voice, or you could upload text. So, while I was doing that, we will come back to that. And for right now, let's jump back into the actual document. So, the first thing that I want you to focus on is to see what is it that we actually see going on in the document. So if you'll take a look at the computer screen, the PDF or the voice thread, whichever is easier for you. To me, I think the PDF would probably be easier for us, just because it's more traditional with the scroll. And in the PDF, we are familiar with the ability to annotate off to the side. If you click on Tools, you can actually click a text box and actually type in responses that you think about. But for the sake of time, we can just hit it the old-fashioned way with pencil and paper. This is just so we can keep these things moving forward. The conversations we have now, we can keep a log of them. What do you actually see? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to take about 3 to 5 minutes and for just gather lots of evidence, but reserve judgment. So tell me strictly, what do you see? We know what we're looking for because we have the rubrics in our hand. We know we're looking to see if the presenter effectively introduced the topic. We know we're looking to see if they effectively added multiple facts and details and definitions to support it. We know what we're looking for, so what I want you to do is just take 3 to 5 minutes and actually do that with this document. Gather lots of evidence, but reserve judgment. Trust me, there will be time for us to insert our opinion. You cannot reserve judgment. If you are not able to look at this text without saying, this student needs to do this or do that or do that, then think about, this student's paper is horrible, or this student's paper is amazing. Find the actual evidence that leads you to believe that information.
Yeah, what's the prompt?
Can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
See if you can discover it from their text. If a student did an effective job of answering the question, you should not need to see the prompt. If if we had the prompt, we would be more biased towards our judgment. We're looking to see, did they satisfy, did they clearly introduce the topic, things of that nature.
Ms. Jones,
Yes,
you have an idea where I can locate Mr. Barber?
Right
we're
here.
right here.
Excellent. Mr. Barber, I'd like to know if you're interested in having your name submitted for the coach endorsement. They offer a class during the summer and then throughout the school year. It's a year-long program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I'm going to submit your name as recommendation to the county. If they select you as one of the candidates, they'll follow up with some information for you about the training.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Woo!
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Ms. Jones.
All right.
Everybody give Barbara a big round of applause for joining the coaching endorsement. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, brother.
Did they change the criteria? I thought you had to have 2 years experience. That's why I couldn't sign up. They changed it for you. Or they changed it.
It's Mr. President.
Barbara's welcome, man.
She gonna iron your cheese for the longest.
Just take all three. Touch the
I know, I want 3.
I know Mrs. Gladden is doing a phenomenal job of going through the text.
I'm not eating cheese puffs.
She has a full screen so that she can see the words. I know they are a little bit faded. Some of the students write heavier than others. About 1 more minute remaining.
Yeah, he clearly stated it. Because it's perspective that he was choosing one over what he wanted.
But it gets taken a trip. I don't think it's a choice. Like, why would mom break up right there? Right.
I think it's to look.
Planet to live on. You have to choose between the moon and Mars. The moon and Mars.
Well, he says living up here and then it says to take a trip, but then I think he goes back to living on.
And he started with trip, so I don't know what the trip was. But he says livable. I'll just point where about living there.
All right, so let's bring it back together. Let's see some of those facts and evidence that we were able to gather from this document. What were some of the things that stood out to you that we discovered? I saw some of you with your pens writing. I heard some great conversation going on. What were some of the things that you discovered in this document?
His introductory paragraph, I kind of felt was quite engaging. Mainly because the first line says, between Mars and the moon, I would take a trip to the Mars. What about you? And then his style is almost quite conversational, because it goes on to say, think about all the possibilities. So that whole paragraph is like, oh, This is what a trip to the Mars, a trip to Mars could possibly look like with all these different possibilities. And he, in the way he doesn't, I like the way that he doesn't necessarily list it in this kind of formulaic way. About, well, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this. Is a very, there's something quite smooth about it, about the way that he's not formulaic.
He uses a lot of voice. I like that.
What do you mean by voice? What was some of the evidence that you saw of that voice in his text?
Just as he said.
You got an answer?
Think about it. Think about all the possibilities. And down here where he says.
I mean, even asking the questions.
Yeah, asking you questions.
Engaging and making you think.
Hey, to wrap it all up, my point is that Mars could be more useful or more helpful.
I felt his linking phrases were nice, for want of a better word. Like, besides having finally
To
wrap this all up, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not the next.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'll talk about. You know, it's there's something very non-formulaic which gives it. I think goes back to the voice.
Without telling us, does he talk like this? Without telling us who it is?
Does this student talk like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's eloquent.
This student is
Oh,
quite a mature one.
he would. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So let's make sense of this through the student's eyes. Let's make sense of what the students are actually doing through their eyes. I did not give you the prompt for a reason because I want you to see if you can tell me this student viewed the prompt that was given to him. What was the assignment that he decided to write to? If you did not see the prompt and haven't seen it, what do you think he was trying to respond to?
Which one would be better to live on? Mars
Which would
or
be
Mars?
better to live on?
And why?
Would be better to live on.
Out of Mars or the moon, and why?
So, for space side.
Mm-hmm.